All right, David Haye, how you doing, brother?
Very well, thank you. All as well.
Great to have you here on talkSPORT as Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury fast approaching on BT Sport. Man, you know what? I was thinking about this earlier. When you beat Valuev, right, you were like the perfect fighter to beat him, right? Because you were fast, you could get round him.
My name's David as well. Goliath, David versus
Yes,
Goliath.
yes. I mean, apart from that,
it worked out well.
For a second, I was like, did I call him something other than David Haye? But yeah, I think we were just speaking to Carl Frampton, and he said if you were to build someone to challenge Tyson Fury, it might be someone like Dillian Whyte. What do you think about that?
I think it would be Dillian Whyte. To have someone with the capabilities to beat Tyson Fury, first and foremost, you need to have someone fearless. They can't be scared of the physical size of Tyson Fury. Mm-hmm. That can't be an issue. You know, you got to have endurance, you got to have strength, you got to have punch power. You know, and you got to be in it. You got to be experienced. You got to have fought at the highest level, and that's what Dillian Whyte has done. Dillian has found a way throughout the years to be in there with some of the toughest guys. Whether he's chosen them or not, it seems like he's one of those characters who just happens to get the Oscar Rivas's of the world.
Scraps.
You know, the guys that nobody really wants to fight. He's willing to put his hand up and fight them, and when he fights them, he puts on a great fight. You know, the knockout of Derek Chisora. You know, he put down Joseph Parker, super heavy. You know, Parker was lucky to hit a final bell after some of those counter left hooks he threw. You know, and the losses he's had. You know, Anthony Joshua. You know, no shame there. He had one arm going into that fight. His right arm was gone, and he nearly took him out of his left hook. First time he saw any chinks in Anthony Joshua's armour was with Dillian Whyte, and you know he never got the opportunity to avenge that defeat. You know, with two arms. One day, hopefully, we'll get to see them two in the ring with each other. And obviously, Alexander Povetkin. You know, Povetkin was a very, very old campaigner when they fought first time round. Nobody gave him Povetkin a chance. You know, Dillian was always supposed to just beat him, and he was, until he just got caught with that one shot. And that can happen to anyone in boxing. They have a rematch, and he rights the wrongs. So I think that loss to him there's no damage done. Getting knocked out like that with one shot, it's not like he took he would have taken more damage fighting Derek Chisora and winning than he did losing that fight to Povetkin. So damage-wise, there's no real miles on the clock at the end of that. He just got his lights put out. It's like going to have an operation, you get knocked out. It happens, you come back. And but I think people look at that and see, he lost to Povetkin. Tyson Fury, he'll steamroll him. No. That's not the case. You know, that fighter that got knocked out by Povetkin is a completely and utterly different animal than the one that'll be stepping into the ring at Wembley Stadium. It's going to be a completely different vibe. You know, when the crowd start cheering and both fighters know this is it. You know, Tyson Fury, I wouldn't be surprised if he's potentially overlooked Dillian Whyte, because you know he's on such a high, such a roll. The world recognised him, you know, unequivocally as the number one, the lineal champion. No one can really put a solid argument for why he isn't number one, and for good reason. You know, he's always beaten the guy who's had the belts, and that's it. You know, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't fought for any vacant titles. You know, he fought Vladimir Klitschko, you know, and he fought Deontay Wilder for the belts, and that's it. So he got the WBC there, and he got all the other belts from Klitschko. So at some stage or another, he's won all the belts legitimately. The other champions haven't. They won vacant belts, or guys who've won the fight. So in his mind, in his team's mind, in most of the boxing people's minds, he's the best, and Dillian Whyte has lost against Povetkin a couple of fights ago. I understand why he's not getting the hype as though he's going to go out there and do something special. But I've completely eradicated that knockout loss to Povetkin. And I just feel that this is his opportunity to shock the world. You know, you'll get massive odds betting on Dillian Whyte. No one is really backing him whatsoever. But you know, the type of opponent that you'd need to beat Tyson Fury, you know, Dillian Whyte has all of those attributes. You know, he can punch hard. He's got cardio for days. You know, he's got the desire. He believes in himself. You know, he's not interested in spending time on Instagram and promoting anything. No, he just wants to go to the gym and train, give himself the best opportunity to win. And that's the type of mindset that I believe is there to beat Tyson Fury. Anything other than what he brings to the table won't be enough.
I've got to say, it was a joy to see you back in the ring last year, David. Do things like this, you know, is the itch there at all for you, mate?
No, it was at the time. I really enjoyed it. I did like a month's boxing training for that. I don't normally do boxing training. I just do weight training, circuits, and just general all-round fitness. So I had a month to do a bit of sparring and a bit of boxing training. Really got the juices flowing. But since then, I've packed up my boxing gloves, so the vibe's gone now. So I'm just enjoying my world tour at the moment, just bouncing around, enjoying the spoils of life.
Listen, John Fury wants it on the undercard, doesn't he? He wants to get on there. You're in good nick. Hey,
The time for my dust ups are long behind me now. But I did genuinely enjoy it's the hype factor before it. It was the build up. You got the juices flowing, but it's time to enjoy these big champs from afar.
All right, David, thank you very much for joining us on talkSPORT. Very finally, prediction for Usyk and Joshua, short answers, and Fury and Whyte.
Fury, Whyte, I'm going to go with Whyte. I think Whyte's going to pull off the upset. I think this is opportunity. I think this is what he's been waiting for. It's happened at the right time for him. And I think the fact that Tyson Fury's so highly regarded by everybody, I think works in Dillian's favour. So I'm going with the unpopular underdog. And Anthony Joshua and Usyk, I really believed first time round that Anthony Joshua was going to beat Usyk. I just thought physically he was too big, too imposing. He punched too hard. When they got in close, he would just be able to rough him up. But he did the polar opposite to all of the things that I thought he needed to do to win. This time round, after Anthony Joshua obviously reviewed the fight, I think he knows what he did wrong, and I think that he's going to do what he should have done in the first fight, and that's be the bigger man, push the rules to the limit. Get warned. You need to be warned by the referee for infringements of the rules, but whilst doing that, doing damage inside. So he really needs to get inside and rough up the much smaller man. And I think that if athletic wise, he should win, but it's just down to whether he mentally is ready to go into that battle zone and rough him up. If he is, he wins. If he does the same thing again and tries to have a long range boxing match, he loses. But I don't think he's going to make the same mistake twice.